Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be continuing my series of videos where I explore the animated world of Star Wars. If you haven't been watching these videos, basically I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but a big hole in my fandom was I'd never seen any of the animated content. Just fell behind and I never caught up. But 2020 being a crazy year with the pandemic and everything, being home a lot more often, I decided now is the perfect time to kind of binge watch all these shows on Disney Plus and get caught up on Clone Wars, Rebels, and Resistance. So today's video I'll be reviewing Season 4 of Clone Wars. Really enjoyed this season. A lot of really cool story arcs, some different types of episodes. Really, I've loved every season of Clone Wars so far. So this one gets another season that gets high marks for me. So with that being said, I'm just going to go right into kind of talking about some of the episodes. So first up, you get a story arc centered on Mon Cala, the planet where the Mon Calamari, which is Admiral Akbar's species, is set, and basically there's on verge of a civil war on this planet. So the Jedi are there to kind of try to help with the negotiations, and the Separatists get involved and take the other side, and then you have a civil war starts to happen on Mon Cala. It's kind of interesting. One part I really enjoyed about this story arc is, basically all the action is happening under the water, so you get to see just different types of fighting scenes, different imagery, really cool stuff. Kind of cool to see how the Jedi fight underneath water, how the clone troopers fight underneath water, the various droids that the Separatists have made that are specialized on fighting underneath water. I kind of enjoyed that aspect of the storyline. So you have Water War. The second episode was Gungan Attack, where the Republic basically recruits the Gungan army to come help, and prisoners. So it was an interesting little story arc. I kind of enjoyed that concept of having a storyline centered on underwater action, basically. Next up, you have Shadow War, which is another episode that focuses on the Gungans. Basically, you're going back to Naboo, and there's been rumors that the Gungans are thinking of siding with the Separatists. And so Padme, Anakin, and Jar Jar go to investigate and find out what's going on. I really enjoyed the Gungan content on here. I wish Jar Jar is more like the other Gungans. So a lot of the other Gungan characters I do find interesting. And one part of this episode that I did like is that the Gungans actually succeed in capturing General Grievous, which I kind of found interesting. This entire series of episodes, Grievous is the Jedi constantly try to capture him. They're never able to do it, and in this episode, the Gungans are able to do it. Now it ends up they have to do a prisoner exchange because Anakin also gets captured, so they have to exchange. So they have to instantly give him up. But I just did find it interesting that the Gungans were the ones that finally succeeded in capturing Grievous. Next up, you have Mercy Mission, which is heavily involves R2-D2 and C-3PO. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I always really enjoy the episodes that have a lot of droid content. The chemistry between R2-D2 and C-3PO are amazing. Loved it. I loved how they interacted with the clone troopers in this episode, and very much similar in the next episode. You have Nomad droids, where basically the ship that the two droids are on, C-3PO and R2-D2, is attacked, and they're captured by the Separatists, and so then you get to see them and basically as prisoners, and then trying to escape and resist the Separatists. The droids, they're very brave. They can be very funny. I just love the episodes that focus on the droids. I love the clone troopers when they rescue me. Again, that interaction between the clone troopers and the droids, I really enjoy. Next up, you have probably the story arc in this season I found the most interesting, which is Darkness on Umbraria, the General Plan of Descent, and Carnage of Krell. And basically these 4 episodes, Anakin is called back to Coruscant, so he turns over the 501st to another Jedi, Krell, and he has a very different viewpoint on the war than other Jedi. And instantly the clone troopers under his command begin to bristle because they quickly realize Krill doesn't really care if the clone troopers are killed in battle. He's all about accomplishing the mission, and if there's high casualty rates, he doesn't care. It says however they can do it the quickest, that's the way he wants to do it. And it's the first time these clone troopers basically come across a Jedi that they begin not to trust. They feel like the Jedi doesn't have their best interests at heart. And it's kind of interesting to see how the various different clone personalities react to this. Some stay super loyal to the general, just like he's our commanding officer, we do whatever he says. Other ones very much rebel and like, no, I'm not going to do a suicide mission just because this guy ordered it. And you have some in the middle that go like, yeah, I know he's acting weird and he's giving us weird orders, but he has to have a reason for this. Let's just go along and maybe point out other options, and eventually, we'll come to a better understanding. It's very interesting to see how that storyline plays along. Eventually, of course, we find out that this Jedi is maybe being drawn to the dark side a little bit. That's all I'll say on that. I really enjoyed this story arc. Always love how the clone troopers are depicted and the character development they're able to do for the various clones. I've really enjoyed that over the course of the series so far. Next up, you have kind of what I've termed the slaver story arc, and basically that involves kidnapped slaves of the Republic and escape from Cadavo. And basically, there's the Jedi become aware that there's this group of slavers who have started becoming active again and kidnapping people and selling them into slavery, basically under the protection of the Separatists. So Anakin is very passionate about this. Obviously, if you know his background from the movies, him and his mom were slaves earlier in life, and so he's very anti-slave, as everybody should be. So Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka basically go undercover to try to infiltrate this group of slavers and to rescue these slaves. And it was kind of interesting to see how this storyline impacted Anakin's personality and also changed the way Ahsoka viewed Anakin, because she didn't know about his background. So she actually begins to feel like she better understands some of Anakin's personality from learning more about him and seeing how this mission really impacts him on a personal level. Next up, you have A Friend in Need, which is another Ahsoka heavy episode, which I'm always for. This was it was okay. It wasn't my favorites, but basically it's another peace conference or attempted peace conference between the Separatists and the Republic, and what happens with that. It was okay, but then after this episode, this is the other story arc that might be my favorite for season 4, and that's the I'll just term it the ObiWan undercover story arc. So basically, the Jedi become aware of a Separatist plan to assassinate Palpatine on Naboo at an event, and they can't figure out what the plan is. So they basically decide to send Obi-Wan undercover and get him recruited to be a part of the team that's going to do the assassination so they can learn more and stop it. But to do this, they basically have to fake Obi-Wan's death and then do like this medical procedure to him that changes his appearance. Almost think of like the movie Face Off a little bit. But they even keep this secret from Anakin. Anakin's not aware that Obi-Wan's faked his death, that he thinks he's really died. So first, it's interesting to see how Obi-Wan's death impacts Anakin and others. On the other side, it's really kind of interesting to see Obi-Wan go undercover, and he kind of gets to be a little bit more of a rogue and rebel, because he's a bounty hunter. He's undercover, and he gets to do some stuff that he normally wouldn't do as a Jedi. So it's kind of interesting to see that aspect of Obi-Wan's personality play out over this episode arc, which is Deception, Friends and Enemies, The Box, and Crisis on Naboo. Really enjoy that story arc a lot. Then you have the end of season 4 is basically a storyline where Savage Opress comes back in with the Night Sisters, and basically Savage begins to go on a mission to find, over the course of this, he is sent on a mission to find his lost brother, Darth Maul. So we get Darth Maul back in the the storyline of the Star Wars universe, and it's kind of interesting to find out what happened with Darth Maul. How did he survive the events of the Phantom Menace? How did that impact him? What's his goal now? Does he want to go back to the Emperor, or I should say Palpatine, or does is he looking for revenge? What is his viewpoint now? You get the Night Sisters are beginning to come to grips with their place in the war, I guess you'd say, between the Republic and the Separatists and the Jedi and the Sith. Darth Maul and Savage make a very interesting team. I really was fascinated by this story arc. I'm all about Darth Maul. After seeing how Darth Maul is in this, I'm all for more Darth Maul content. That's the end of season 4. Really enjoyed it. I'm still thinking season 2 might be my favorite season, but season 4 is pretty close. Loving where the show's going, and I'm just super excited to see where it goes in the next few seasons. So let me know in the comment section below, what did you think of season 4? Did you have a favorite story arc, characters, that type of stuff? As always, if you like the video, please hit that like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support. I'm really enjoying doing this series of videos, and I hope you're enjoying watching it. So I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.